Happy Monday, everyone. This is Kim from YoGarage inside Evolve Health and Wellness right here in Wrightstown. And I'm going to get started with a little chat from the mat. So every Monday, at some point on Monday, I will be posting a little video tutorial of some different poses, some different questions that pop up during classes. So we're just going to have a little chat from the mat. Just going to get started with the beginning of class. Most classes start out with a child's pose. So I just want to talk a little bit about what's going on in child's pose, what should you feel, where should your hands be, where should your knees be. So let's get started with that one. So think of yourself as coming into a tabletop. So your knees are underneath your hips, your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Hips width apart is going to be when you stack both your fists side by side. That's going to be about hips width apart. You may see a few people with a little bit different of a stance in their child's pose, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So from your tabletop position, you're going to bring your toes to touch, sink your hips back towards your heel, and walk your hands up. Resting your forehead down either on the mat or on a block. If you can't access your forehead all the way down to the mat, you can rest your forehead down onto a block. Arms can be extended out in front of you, or you can bring your arms back by your side. And in your child's pose, your knees can be a little bit farther apart. You may notice that you can sink a little bit further. Just being very mindful that your knees are not so far apart that it's really uncomfortable through your hips. This is actually a resting pose. Any point during a class, if you need to take a rest, this is the perfect place to be. So coming back to that tabletop position, toes touch, and sink your hips back towards your heel, walking your hands out, resting your forehead down, again using that block if you need to, and taking a few breaths here in your child pose before you come back into class. What is child's pose? It's a resting pose. You'll find it in the beginning of most classes. You'll also find it in a restorative class where we've used blocks and bolsters and props to support you for a little relaxation into that pose, sinking maybe a little bit deeper into it, or just feeling really grounded and supported. Again, anytime during class you need a rest, that's a perfect place to come to. Really great if you have tight hips. It's a great help release through your hips, lengthening out your spine, walking your hands out, really thinking releasing tension through your neck and shoulders as well. If you hold a lot of tension there, extending your arms out might be a little bit uncomfortable, so that's why you can guide your hands back towards your sides. In some cases, you may notice that you don't have the range of motion, so your hips might be a little bit higher. You're definitely going to want to use that block to be able to ground your forehead down. Your hips do not have to come all the way back towards the heel. If you can't make it there, that's perfectly fine. You want to create ease and comfort in this pose wherever you land, and taking your handful of breaths, focusing really on those long, slow, deep inhales through your nose and long, slow exhales through your nose. So that's my little video of a little chat from the mat for your Monday morning.